What would you find if you ventured to the deepest parts of the Earth? Lost towns, fabled sea monsters, and gold rivers? Most likely not. However, there is still plenty to learn. So join me as we journey down beneath the surface to discover some of the world's most hostile environments. Few people can claim to have visited the planet's deepest depths. Victor Vescovo, on the other hand, can. Vescovo led an expedition that visited the deepest locations in all 5 oceans from 2018 to 2019. In under 10 months, the 5 Deeps expedition traversed 87,000 kilometers, 54,059 miles, and made 39 dives utilizing a tiny submarine. You'll only visit one trench during your journey, the Mariana Trench. You'll need roughly $750,000 to make the trip, but you'll be one of the few people to go this far down. To begin, you must first travel to Japan. Then you'd take a submarine out into the Pacific Ocean for around 2,000 kilometers, 1,242 miles. The Mariana Trench's deepest point, Challenger Deep, is almost 11 kilometers, 7 miles, below the surface. And getting there would take roughly 2.5 hours. At the beginning of your descent, there will be a lot to look at. The majority of ocean life can be found in the first 200 meters, 656 feet, below the surface. The further you go, the darker it gets, and the fewer wildlife you'll see. Even so, you'd be able to see the rare while diving for food. At 1 kilometer, 3,280 feet, below the surface, you'd observe your first deep-sea species, the Fong Tooth. This fish, properly named, is 16 centimeters, 6 in, long, and has 2 massive teeth. The Fong Tooth has 2 sockets besides its brain to accommodate them. There are no more whales until you reach a depth of 2,500 meters, 8,200 feet. They don't typically go this far down. However, as you reach 8,000 meters, 26,200 feet, you'll come upon the Mariana snailfish. The atmospheric pressure is about 1,100 times what it is at sea level at this point. It would be like carrying the weight of a fully loaded truck on your head if you weren't inside a sealed submarine. To resist all of this severe pressure, those small snailfish must be pretty tough. You'd eventually reach the Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the ocean. Hirandelia gigas, an amphipod species, may be seen if you look closely. These tiny deep-sea crustaceans are only 3 centimeters, 1.2 in length. That's pretty much it for the Mariana Trench. There are no buried treasures, cities, or marine monsters. Then it's time to see the West Mata volcano, the world's lowest sea volcano. This underwater site can be seen southwest of the Samoan Islands. To journey down 1,200 meters, 4,000 feet, below the surface, you'll need to rent another submarine. But since you've already been to the Mariana Trench, it shouldn't be a problem. If you're lucky, the volcano will be active, and you'll have the opportunity to view lava fountains and incandescent bubbles. Just be wary of all the rubbish that ends up in the sea. The Mariana Trench and the West Mata volcano are both natural deep places on Earth. But what about something that was created by humans? The Mponing gold mine is the world's deepest functioning mine. Every day, almost 4,000 miners work there. It's still dangerous, despite safety precautions. A seismic event killed 3 miners 3.5 kilometers, 2.2 miles, below the surface in March 2020. To go to the mine, you'll need to travel to South Africa's Gauteng region. You'd ride the cage elevator, which is a type of elevator. You'll notice the heat as soon as the elevator doors open. It's around 38 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's only because the mining firm devised a mechanism to keep the air cool. The mine would be a scorching 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, without fans blowing over a mixture of ice and salt. Why? Because you're so deep inside the Earth, its inner heat is warming the atmosphere around you. you'd just be 2.5 kilometers, 1.6 miles, below the surface of the Earth. You'd have to walk or drive the rest of the way down to go lower. When you get to 4 kilometers, you'll be at the bottom of the mine, 2.5 miles. That's the equivalent of 10 Empire State Buildings. There are no cave animals to be afraid of down here, thankfully. Monotypic bacteria are the only kind of life down here, aside from the miners. While the Mponing gold mine is amazing, seas contain all of the world's deepest places. Over 80% of the oceans are still unmapped, unseen, and undiscovered, according to NASA. And if we want to keep exploring these regions, we'll have to take better care of our environment. We could start by cleaning up our trash-filled oceans. Can you imagine a Mariana Trench filled to the capacity with trash? That'll have to wait for another high story? Like, share and subscribe to our channel.